morning. Welcome back to this episode of our Thursday talk right here on Sunshine TV. And as you know, every time when it comes to you, it's nothing but the very best of a very well packaged and cooked up package which comes live onto you. As you know, this is only not done only with or without you out there. And luckily enough today, I'm joined with a stagnant and modified Africa's man joined right here in the studios, not other than the man himself, Sibelegi Frank. I do understand this name supposed to come from somewhere within where they do cattle rearing.
In fact, I'm very much happy with the introduction you gave me. That's how I am. Yeah, very much stunning. Yeah, exquisite, so to say. Yeah, and talked of the name. The name Sibereg. There's a very funny, explanation behind this name. Where we come from. Yeah, we do work very hard, but people say Sibereg. These people don't work.
That's how
So,
it is.
so it's the issue of if you want to come and visit us, be like, I can't go and visit these people, they don't work. So like, okay, let me just leave them like that. So it's kind of cool.
So that's how, as we are going to move on, as you have just heard from the man himself, he calls himself Siveregi, but definitely he is a hard worker. So it's very glad to have you on board as we get to paddle together, as we jive together until we say enough is enough. So if you happened to miss the previous episode, wow, today you are very lucky as we are together light in the studios. So for today we'll be looking at a very, very composed topic of discussion where we get to focus mostly on youth as we get to say what do we look at when we are choosing our career. We also come to look at certain aspects which will help out the youths out there as us youth as we intend to become future leaders. Just to start on, what can you utter about youth choosing up their career? Should their parents involve themselves?
That's what the problem is, my brother. There. That's what the problem is. I've come across a lot of people say, in fact, parents say, I want my child to do this in life, to go this path, to go this way. But I think that's wrong. Yeah, parents, they just have to advise the child. Said, okay, with what you have chosen, this this is what you have to go through. But parents shouldn't choose a career to say, my son, directly and rightly say you have to do this now. I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. Parents are supposed to advise their children to choose a path that is good for them. If you choose to be a broadcaster, you choose to be a lawyer, you have to explain it to your parents. Say, okay, me, I've chosen to go this path. Yeah, and that's what I have to do. This is my career. This is what I want to do in life. So I want your advice. So parents are just there to advise, not to make a decision. It's a free Mandela award, yeah. It's a free Mandela award, and we all have we're not created like robots, so to say, or like smartphones whereby a smartphone you have to control it yourself. No, but you have got the ability to make decision for ourselves at the end of it. Oh, so when you choose a career for yourself, parents are just there to advise, not to make a decision
But
for a child.
where do you put this aspect where others they'll say if you identify a certain attribute in your children, why don't you let them build up with that well God given talent, unlike diverting? Where do you put that? Because if they choose to say this our son, this our daughter has to grow up in that manner, and you as an individual coming to say, okay, I am not going to follow up what my parents want, but I'll do to what I desire. Where do you put that saying?
Sometimes when you follow what your parents want you to do, people say you won't be happy to the fullest because you're choosing what your parents want you to do. You're not fully what they have chosen for you. That's not your desire. You see, that's not what your heart desires to go for. And there are certain occasions whereby that person won't be very much happy in life because somebody out there made a decision for yourself. Quite right. You raise a very good point to say we do have different kind of talents, God-given talents. For example, I can talk of one like maybe drawing. There are many kinds of talents, music and everything. Yeah, those can just be a plus in one's life to utilize them and make a benefit out of it. But when it comes to choosing a career, what kind of job you want to do in life, if one makes a decision for you, then these are certain occasions whereby we see people are not happy in life. Why? Because somebody made a decision for that particular person. You didn't do it wholeheartedly, with your heart desire, no? But somebody made a decision for you, which isn't good, so to say.
Sure, like he has just put it place out there. If you are following us live on our Facebook page, it's very much important for you to get in touch with us. The number is right there on the screen, or drop your question or your comment in the comment box. So as we move on, as we get to understand why some youths they will end up involving themselves in certain careers which they are not interested, as a result they become a burden in their workplaces. There are people who just rush into something because their parents has money to sponsor them to any institution. Then what perspective do you think they will apply? Are they going to work fully? For example, here is a teacher who went in all because their parents had money to sponsor them to that institution, and they
Yeah.
are deployed by the government. There's this saying which they would call a laissez-faire teacher.
Mm.
Do you think that teacher will fully deliver in that classroom?
Sorry to say this, but I've seen a lot of teachers, even back then, during my school days. Yeah, I think 10 years ago, so to say.
Let's hope
Yeah.
you're a teacher.
Yeah, no. The thing here it is that that people who fail teaching, you have to deliver with your whole heart, passionate. You have to be passionate about your work. You see, now that times where I find to say even teaching that person is not that even good. In terms of handling the students and everything, it's not that good. Why? Because somebody made the decision for yourself. You see, so I think this way we're getting it wrong. That's why I find to say even a lot of people fail to deliver to the fullest. Why? Because that's what they wanted. That's why at the end of it all, they put the blame on the government. Say, Boma ilanganepo. It's up to the person to langana yourself, to make a decision on your own. You see, that's why we find to say that a lot of people who are unemployed. Why? Simply because you are just after. You see,
After the package.
after the package, the Steve Explorer package. Yeah, the bouquet. So you're just after the package, after that type of feud or other fraternity that is being followed by a lot of people, and because of what money, but you didn't do what you want. These are incidents whereby I find to say a person fails to deliver even at school as well as in the institution. Why? Because you didn't do it wholeheartedly, and somebody made a decision for you instead of you making a decision for yourself.
But a quick one before we move on. How do you think youths or other children they would be able to convince, or which method would they use to convince their parents to allow them develop what they have within them? Unlike parents dialect to say, okay, for you, you have to be a police officer, you have to
Yeah.
be a soldier, you have to be a mechanic. Look at, there was this simple thing which happened. These guys they prepared for career stay at school.
Yeah.
Okay, and this just guy just had to go put on a overall scarlet
Yeah.
and hammer. So surprisingly, the whole school, everyone there.
Yeah.
It's like, but sure, would you just be in class grade 1 to 12 and we want to become a carpenter?
Eh.
Okay, so that pupil was within him. Okay, now would you think parents would have been pleased to see their children, or that boy goes to school in a overalls and a hammer saying, I want to be a carpenter? Such children, what kind of approach would they give their parents to convince them that, okay, definitely, even if I spent 12 years in school, I want to be a carpenter?
Yeah. Forcing somebody to choose a career is more like forcing a person to choose a marriage mate. You get the point? Yeah? You choose a marriage mate, a spouse for that particular person. Okay, I want you, Frank, to get married to that lady. That's the same as choosing a career for that particular person. So coming back to your questions, so to say, attribute how should children approach their parents in order for them to explain
Sure.
what kind of a career they want to go through, or what kind of path they want to go through. I think a good approach as well, talking in a very good way can help the parent accept what the child wants to do. I think talking it all, yeah, they say things are done by talking. So if you talk to your parents in a well-respective manner, I'm talking to a young person out there, yeah, as I'm looking direct into the camera, talking to your parent in a right way, I think it will help. And explaining why you want to go through that path. Yeah, there are people who do things without understanding, just because it's just the influence of everybody, or just saw somebody out there doing it, or like, okay, even me want to do it. So approaching your parents in a good way and explaining very well, well convincingly, so the parents get to understand. They say, okay, yeah, this is what my son wants to go through. This is what my son wants to go. This is what my son, so to say, this is the path that my son wants to go through. So approaching your parents in a good way, talking to them and explaining the good reasons why you want to go through that path, it will help you convince your parents to say, okay, yeah, I know I agree. This is what my son wants to do in his life.
Mm.
I think this one might work.
That's definitely one of, because there are parents out there who would say, okay, I have spoken, nothing else has to be done. Don't you think
That's
it's probably
dictatorship in a family house, in a household, so to say.
so just to add on to what you have said, if we are a Christian nation, and I do believe every home is full of Christianity. So if you happen not to approach your parents, or rather they're a bit difficult, as yes to put say that they have dictatorship government within your family, there are people out there I think they can use relatives, uncles, church members, or anyone they feel like they can use. Sometimes, don't you think it's a better idea for such children to use their teachers?
In fact, schools they do have guidance teachers that are there to guide pupils which path they want to go to. So you can go to any, if you I mean any teacher you trust at your school. It can either be your class teacher, your head teacher, or your guidance teacher. And moreover, guidance teachers, they are very much confidential, so to say. When you tell them, so now I want to do this, but my parents are refusing. Then you explain to them, okay, the reason I want to go this is because this and this and this and this. Oh, okay. They understand and they concur with you. What you are saying is the truth. And then now you approach your parents and said, okay, your son came to me, your daughter came to me and explained this to me. And I think it's right for him to do this. Reason being is this and this and this and this. Apart from teachers, where I come from, Homosans, if you want to get married, you use your uncle. You see? So I think even your uncle, your auntie can to do for you. Approach them. Tell them, uncle, auntie, I want to go this route in life. But I think my parents want to concur with me. So I want you to help me to explain to my parents so that they can understand and accept what I want to do. So after you have told your uncle, your auntie, or your teacher at school, then they will make a follow up now to your parents and explain what you told them. Convincingly enough to make your parents agree that that's the right path for the son to go.
Thank you very much. In case you have just joined us right about now, you can still send in your comments or other callers. The number is right there on your screen so that we get to interact with you out there. If you are a youth, I hope you are getting one or two things. And mostly this one goes to our parents out there. Let's try by all means to understand and identify what God-given talents our children had so that we don't compromise. Remember, we can only better up the world if we are to let the youth motivate themselves and move on in that very manner. Let's look at another interesting aspects about some people out there. Identify, we do say, the young teens out there. What are some of the things that might affect them when you talk about moral decay? What happens? What brings them? What some of the examples? And what leads into certain things? Because we do believe there is nothing that comes in without something. Nobatonga mwambati muliro toyagi bokakutabusi. So what are some of the things that will bring in certain attributes towards the growth or rather well-being of the youth out there?
In fact, these are topics that are intertwined, they're interrelated, so to say. Choosing a career as a moral decay. Because in order for you to choose a very good career, you need to be morally upright. You see? In order for you to have a good career, you need to be morally upright. So now, most of people, in terms of the moral aspect of the youths out there, it's not in good standards like it used to be back then. There are very much good examples, or rather there are a lot of good examples that do show that, my brother, the moral of standards of living of teens over time, it's decaying. It's going in a different way. It's going berserk. Why? First of all, cite examples that show that indeed this is moral decay. We do have a lot of news. We do hear a lot of news to say this place they have gotten maybe a huge chunks of dagger, so to say. This side there's a teen pregnancy, early marriage, so to say. All those examples of moral decay. Even cases of young ones, being arrested, for we do have here a lot of stories of junkies. Yeah, all those the examples of moral decay. They do show that say indeed the moral standards of every child there is decaying and is going to waste. So these are some of the examples that I can cite that show that indeed the moral decay, the living standards of everything out there is really bad. It's not good like it was back then.
Let's try to bring in this aspect before we move on. You raised a word over, I'll borrow your words. You said they are outgoing in the other direction. Would you try to bring up the viewers in the light point what you meant by saying they are moving in the other direction? Because I do believe if something is moving in a right direction and goes in the other direction, what are some of the aspects, what examples would you cite up to say, okay, this is what was happening and this time around this is what happened? Remember, we are open, it's an open talk, so we just have to hit the nail.
Yeah, right on the head.
Batonga bamba ti lyambirire bakuperere. So let's just get so let's just get it in that way, because if we don't hit the nail on its head, definitely we are hiding something and the viewers out there, they are not getting. Sure. So let's go it by that manner. Let's give examples, or rather you give us examples by what you mean by saying they are going astray.
Yeah, astray. They're drifting away. Definitely. Last night before sleeping, I was listening to one song done by Slapdi of his mother tongue album. The song is called "Take It Back." It features Lange, the song. Yeah. So title of the song is "Take It Back." Now, what Slap was trying to say in that bit of a jam of his is, he identified a lot of things on how life was back then. You see, he said there used to be respect for people who are on the ballot paper. You see, respect used to be given to those people. Yeah, so to say. The way life was, life was peaceful. Though you can't say back then there was no conflict. Conflict was there, but it has now amounted, to a time whereby for it to be controlled, it takes manpower. But back then, through just mouth or by word, I think things used to stabilize. So what I'm just trying to talk about is the old good days, the rare days. They say old is good. Yeah. So the way life was back then and now, it is bad. What I'm trying to say is that back then life was good. There used to be respect for elderly ones. If you I'm passing by, or rather an old person is passing by, you would leave a way for that person to pass by. But this side, right now in our time, you find to say, I just bypass each other. Why? It's showing that there's no a lack of respect, to elderly ones. But back then, respect used to be there. When elder people are speaking, you wait for them to finish. But in our time, you exchange words. You see, they say you also say something. So I think back then life was kind of good, but now things have gone astray. Back then it was a taboo to find a young person smoking, but these days you find to say if you're not doing it, then maybe something is wrong with you in your head.
Network isn't.
Yeah, network error. There's a word that they say in this compound that do a cable. Yeah, yeah, kamanomo. All those. So but back then, even these what's this? Is it what do they call this kind of weed? Tidaga. Yeah, it used
I
to
want
be.
to know it in laws, it's matokwani.
Matokwani, kima popo yale. Yeah, so it used to be for old people, but in a time, sad enough, you find even young ones, they do consume those, and which is very bad. Find you say. So in terms of, so there are many things, there are many aspects of life that have gone beyond, that have drifted away from the way life was back then and now. Kind of life was bad back then, but it's now worse. You see, it's now worse than it was back then. It has now gone astray than it was back then.
Let's talk the aspect of social media.
Yeah.
How is it affecting? How is it contributing?
Social media is also one aspect that has contributed to moral decay in our time. Social media, it is good. Yeah, it has made life to be easier. But as much as it has been good, it has also brought a lot of harm, to our time. What I'm trying to say is that social media can be used in terms of communication for people out there to hear what I'm saying. So because of social media, you see, so social media has made life to be easier, but also it has made life to be hard. You see, it has brought a lot of harmful. What I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of things that are uploaded on social media that are not good for young ones. Moreover, there's no age limit for social media. Even young ones, that do live kind of well and kind of average kind of life, they do use social media. You see?
Without any restrictions.
Yeah, without any restrictions. And parents don't go around checking what is going
What
on.
kind of content are
Yeah.
they viewing?
Yeah, so there are a lot of things that have been uploaded on social media that are bad to young ones. Talk of music, talk of pornography, and you know what? They say what you hear or what you listen and what you watch sticks in your mind as well as in your heart. So if you listen to any type of music there, which has got bad language, so to say, it will stick in your head, and for you to be like as if it's normal. You see,
But
as if it's normal.
before you lose your thought,
Yeah.
I think you are aware that it's not everyone who goes on social media, they will end up opening those hazard websites. Let's talk of the aspect of ads. There
Yeah.
are certain ads who just pop up
That's the thing.
unknowingly.
Yeah, that's the
okay?
thing.
So if you are to put it to say that it's also contributing in that manner, who is who and who is contributing, who is who? Okay, there's this saying who says, okay, who is who and who is who
Yeah.
destroying someone. These website developers, I think the viewers out there, they can bear witness with me. There are people who will just say, okay, fine, I bought this gadget of mine, but just from nowhere, certain unforeseen ads will just pop up. Okay, so when someone is advertising for someone, something just pop ups, people will just end up clicking on that one. Don't you see the aspect of these cyber social security companies? They have to come in part to look at what kind of ads will be coming on handsets. Okay, I do believe you can bear witness with us and the viewers out there that certain phones, we don't want to mention, or rather start giving out examples of those phones.
Yeah.
Whereby immediately when you switch on your data, definitely ads will just start popping.
Yeah.
Certain browsers, ads will start popping.
And you know what the mind says?
I remember there was this old man who once came to me saying, you know what, I'm even failing to give my phone to my children because the kind of content which comes on my phone, which I didn't subscribe to, I don't understand it. So when I had to check that phone, I would find that it was a browser which brings out certain unspeakable ads. Now here's a grade 10 pupil, okay?
Yeah.
As it is, people, a number of youths in the compound, it's coming up to a lies because others are sitting on their exams as we are speaking.
Yeah, that's true.
So those guys are coming back to society, okay? Now here is someone who completed his or her grade 12 at a tender age, 15, 14, 16 years.
Yeah.
They are now exposed to life. They say, okay, we are graduates, we completed our grade 12.
Yeah.
Now they have those handsets.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the day, they try to check on something on social media, that ad now just pops up, okay?
Yeah.
So how do you relate such, and how do you advise someone who will find themselves in such situations?
You know, sometimes it's very hard. The eye is very much tempting. Yeah, it's very much tempting. Temptation is real, my brother. It is real and very much hard. But you have to conquer. Have to, defeat it. You have to fight it. So as you are browsing, as I've already, alluded to, you are browsing and an ad just pops up. Sometimes it's very much good to just avoid it. Yeah, just to cancel it. Even though I know that it's very much tempting, my brother. It's very much tempting. Like, okay, I think there's more to this. I think there's more to this. So like, okay, let me just go through it. But it's very much bad because if you want to know more about that art, then you usually, end up seeing wrong things. And, be like, okay, let me try to practice what I've watched, you see? And which is very much bad. So I think sometimes it's just very good to, to avoid it. Yeah, just cancel it. Cancel the ad as it pops up, just cancel it so that you can protect yourself. Though you raised a very good point about these cyber security companies, to make good use of making laws to say, I think these websites that issue out different ads out there must be worked on. I think they must put things straight in order so that they know to say some phones that are being manufactured, that are being made out there, even young ones do have access to them, and which is very much bad because at the end of it all you start watching bad things. So I think these cyber security companies, even them, they should come on board, make a law that will help young ones, you see, protect themselves. And even it's very hard, my brother, it's very hard to choose that, okay, say the person who's going to buy this phone is a young person. It's very much hard to choose. But I think
and as it is, everyone now is switching from analog to
digital. That's the problem which is there. So it's very hard to say, okay, if they make a law to say a young person is the one who is supposed to have access to this kind of phone, an elder person, it's very difficult, my brother. At the end of it, it's business, and you want to make money out of it. You sell phones and everything.
But does it mean for them to start advertising those ads in that manner? Are they not caring for the young generation?
That's the problem which is there. These people, for them, it's just business. They're just after making money. You see, me all I just want is just to make money and just live a luxury life at the end of it. Oh, that's why we are getting it wrong. So you must be able to differentiate between business and destroying the life of a young person out there. So that's where the problem is. So I think they should be categorizing to say at what extent should these things be popping up and everything. So this all goes up to cyber security companies. So I think they must just create a law that will help young ones. Because even me, whenever I'm browsing, these things, they just
So
come.
you are a victim as well.
I'm a victim, and as I can even tell by the way I look, expression, my facial expression, that I'm not even happy about it, even though I'm smiling.
You're not happy about it.
Yeah.
So that's just it. If you have just joined us, welcome on board as you are moving on our Thursday Open Talk, and right here in the studios as you have heard the man himself as we are moving over and on. So if you happen to miss certain contents, you can just go back to our Facebook page and you'll be able to get where we started. And most important, don't forget to send in your comment in your comment box, or rather send us a text or a call. The number is right there on your screen. As we are moving on, what are some of the things that are affecting, and if you are a youth out there and you intend to do one or two things but you are failing how to convince your parents, we have talked about a few more tips how you can control certain situations. But remember, don't be harsh when you talk to your parents. Find an alternative mean on the way to convince them, so that they can let you do your own interesting career, so that you get to prove or rather to contribute to the national grid. So we touched on certain aspects. We have a lot of youth, about maybe 5,000-10,000, that will come back to our society. What are some of your advice? Would you advise them? Because I do understand this is now the time they'll start now choosing, okay, this time around I just want to do this, I just want to go to this career. Others will say, okay, fine, I'll go to nursing, since because the government said ABC.
Yeah.
I'll go to this career because
I'm passionate about it. You see, naturally, that's the way you are, and I believe a presenter should be natural, the way you are. Don't force matters, my brother. Don't force matters. These are kind of situation where to find you say, you don't even deliver to the expectation. You see, you don't work to your fullest. Why? Because you just chose the career because my friend did this.
my friend did
Yeah,
this.
and you were in the same class, by the way, and all of us in the same class, we want to be doctors. So like, I think I'll be left out. Let me just go and become a doctor, and which is very wrong. Which is very wrong. At the end of it, you start blaming people, start blaming the government, start blaming your family, which is wrong. So I think just choose what you want to do. Don't make a decision just because your friend did it, just because my uncle did it, just because my neighbor did it, just because that person did it, which is very wrong. So do what you feel is good for you, not what your friend is doing. I think that's straight and enough. I think that's straight. And it's very much important. Very, very important.
So as you said, in the other ways, we should learn to audit ourselves
Yeah,
properly.
yeah. Do what you feel is right for you. Don't choose make a decision just because one did it. No, audit yourself. Set yourself through. Like check yourself very well. Even my brother, if you want to propose, you like, okay, I think that one I might
I can target.
Yeah, I can target. Just weigh yourself, and there are ladies who are trying to say, I think passing Albani. So choose yourself, audit yourself, set yourself. Weigh yourself and see what do you belong. Where do you belong? Which aspect, which fraternity, which industry do you belong? And go for it. Don't just do it just because your friend did it, just because everybody's doing it, which is wrong. We do see a lot of careers. Friends, everyone is going to that direction. They want to be doctors. They want to be this and this. They want to be this and that, which is very wrong. At the end of it, you start blaming the government. Say, the government is not in offering employment for us, which is very wrong.
Or because you all choose the same career.
Same career.
In the ordinance of saying I have to be with my friends,
Yeah.
because we're in the same school, same career. So in the other way around, we should be very much careful that we don't get peer pressure under
That's the
influential
thing.
aspects.
That's the thing. That's peer pressure now. That's peer pressure now. You want to do what your friend is doing. And moreover, on top of peer pressure, it's of people of the same age. You see, just because a friend is doing it, like, okay, I want to do it also, which is very wrong. Me, I've got friends who have gone different, fraternity, different industries, and here I am broadcasting. So it's not all because of my friend did this, my friend did that, which is very wrong. Which is very wrong, my brother.
So, dear viewers, in case you have just joined us, this is Thursday Open Talk right here on your number one platform as we get to interact with you out there. So most importantly, don't have to forget to send in your comments, or rather call us. The number is right there on your screen. Remember, if you are one of someone who thinks that you can do something better than you think, then you have the mandate to develop that within yourself, because if you do that, you will choose your career in a very, very auditable manner. So make sure, in lack of terms, check where you are coming from and where you are going to, okay? So if you just choose to do things all because of the people around you, you want to impress whoever is around you, tomorrow those people won't be around you. They will go in their own different directions, and it will be you alone to suffer those consequences. So make sure as you sit down, choose something which benefits you, which will benefit your family. If you are taught to do something and you find it interesting, go for it. But if you have a different perspective, don't do things in a way that you want to dictate your parents. They are your parents. Sit down, talk with them, find means to convince them. If you can't, like we said earlier on, find someone who is able to do that one for you, your uncles, the people around you, elders, whoever it might be, even your teacher, okay? Doesn't mean that if you are writing your exams, if you just finish, write a final paper, then those teachers becomes your enemies. No, they are there as your parents as well. If you face any challenges, go back to that school, talk to that your class teacher. Me teacher, what I want to do is this, but my family is telling me this. I'm very pretty sure no teacher would not summon your parents and sit them down, or rather follow them at home, advise them according, so that they let you develop that talent you have within you. So before we move on, in the final 10 more minutes before we wrap up, we talked about how our future this time around, our generation is moving from the normal to a stray way. You gave examples of how in the old days it was done, that if elderly people are coming, you will pave way.
Yeah,
okay?
pave way for them.
Sometime being, I remember there was a time where we used to do, you see any elderly moving on with maybe 2 baskets,
You
will
help,
carry
you lend
one,
a hand.
okay? But this time around, I have never seen it happening, okay? Or maybe I'll put it to say, we are no longer doing it because I'm part and parcel of this generation, okay? So what are some of the things that those elders are facing? Because even them, they are living and say that, as for me, this is what used to happen.
What has gone
But
wrong?
this time around, this is what's happening. What has gone wrong?
Yeah.
Is it all about human rights? Because I believe human rights was
That's
not
a topic
that
for
much,
another
okay?
day.
So as yes, Doshi, she says that's a topic for another day. Indeed, it's a topic for another day.
You need to analyze it very well on a broader perspective, I would
So
say.
we are going to throw that topic out there to the viewer. So that one comes out light to you. If you are someone out there and you know that you can give us an insight of human rights, the way it was done in the outer part or of the generation, and this time around in the generation, then wow, the number is right there on our screen. Or rather, you can come to our studios so that we see how we can join hands with you, so that we get to educate you 1 or 2 things in this generation. Remember, this program just comes into you powered by Sunshine TV right here in Livingston. So if you think of promoting or rather uplifting this program, I do see it a better idea that you can contact or rather come to our studios, so that we join hands, we educate the future, we see to change the world for a better place. You heard that song,
Yeah.
okay? Michael Jackson, to change the world.
It's for a better place.
For a better place.
For you and me.
Sure. So it starts all with us.
Yeah.
You can't just say, let that person change. It starts within yourself.
Yeah.
And you extend it to your neighbor. So as it stands life about now, you just have to start within yourself and upgrade it to somewhere else. Remember, you are the culprit. You are the victim. Because in the end of all, if you don't choose to be a culprit and a victim, you are running out of your own responsibilities. So as it is, let's move on in a same direction. Before we go to a wrap up, your advice and your concluding remarks.
Yeah, when a man in a jacket speaks, you have to listen. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've talked a lot of things. In fact, I think I should be a motivational speaker.
I do understand
Yeah.
someone out there say, okay, fine, that man won't be a motivational
Yeah, I
speaker,
just
but
have to be. Yeah, so let me try to motivate them. Yeah, I think we have talked of career choosing.
Sure.
I think I've talked of, I know there are many things that parents want their children to do in life. Yeah, but they are good. Yeah, I think sit with the parents. It's not all about you telling them what to do, but you also have to listen to them. Yeah, listen to them. Know the reason why they want you to choose that career. And if they are valid, good reasons, indeed they'll be valid. Yeah, but if you feel like okay they are good, go for it. But if you as if I think you won't be satisfied, with what they're choosing or with what they're telling you to do, then I think just go a different direction, go a different path that will make you happy. Remember, it all depends on you. If you choose that career, it will be your job for the rest of your life. Think of it. Are you going to be happy? If you'll be happy, go for it. But if you think you won't be happy, man, just go for a different way. But when going for a different way, you need to convince your parents. So now how are you going to convince them? We talked of guidance teacher at school. Talk to your guidance at school. Tell your teacher at school, your class teacher, your head teacher, any trusted teacher out there at your school. Tell them, I want to do this, but my parents are refusing. They will summon your parents, or they will come at your place, and you know what? They will discuss with your parents and come to a conclusion. Apart from that, it can be your uncle, your auntie, somebody whom you trust, or just an elderly person from your community whom you trust. Tell them, elaborate to them what you want to do and why your parents are refusing. Then they'll sit down and articulate it very much good. So I think these are some of the aspects that can help one person out there, in choosing a good career. Coming to moral decay, in a time where we are living in, the living standards of the young ones of our time have gone astray. They have drifted away from it was back then. They have gone a different direction, a wrong direction, so to say. It all comes to, main factors that have contributed to this. We talked of social media. We talked of adverts that pop up whenever you're browsing. All those adverts are not good. Yeah, the kind of some of adverts they are good. Yeah, they are good. Can be business adverts, but some are not good, and they have contributed, to down, making the moral decay of young ones become very very bad, so to say. So I think social media has contributed also. So I think some of those things, just avoid them. Control yourself. You know what? Social media can't control you. You're a person, you have to control it yourself.
You own that gadget.
Yeah, it's your phone. Yeah, it's your phone. So you have got the power, the mandate to control it. So live within your means. Control it. And so the main aspect that have contributed to moral decay, social media, as well as music itself. So choose wisely what kind of music you listen to. Music is more like a kind of food that you consume, you see. So the amount of wrong food that you consume to determine how sick you are going to be, how bad you are going to be, what kind of effects is going to rise to you. So even music itself, the kind of music that you listen to, it either destroy you or motivate you. So choose wisely what kind of music you have to listen to. But some people, just to wrap it up, some people, music that they listen to determines, how they behave. You see, so what they listen, be like, okay, it's normal. This is how life is supposed to be. A lot of artists, they just sing about money, about the love, about a girl. You see, now how do they define that fine, beautiful woman?
You want to combine the three.
Yeah, in a different way. So I think even music itself has contributed to decaying of morals of young ones. So I have to choose wisely what kind of music would you listen to. Yeah, so I have to choose wisely what kind of music. It's not every music that is bad. There are some that are good that can motivate you to keep going in life, and there are some kind of music that I think is silly brain. So you as a person, you have the power, the mandate to choose what you listen to, what you watch, and what you do in life. It's more like the way I choose to wear my jacket. That's how it is. That's how it is, my
You
brother.
just choose to wear a jacket.
Yeah, that's how it is, my brother. So you have got the power to choose what you want to do in life. Career, you have the power to choose, as well as music, as well as what to watch. So it will help you to be a good person in life.
But quickly, before we sum it up in the few 2 minutes, there are things which you think they can be done. Here you are as a broadcaster, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe if you have to give us an insight of how you think people out there might try to do one or two things, because I do believe it's not always that you would find something to do there and then to get paid off. Internships, volunteerism,
Yeah.
how are the youth treating it nowadays?
The problem with our youths, you have got that mentality to say, we'll come when it's big, we'll show up when it's big. Yeah?
When it's small, no
Yeah,
show up.
they're not there available to lend a hand. But me, I believe to say, take every opportunity that comes your way. You see, take every opportunity that comes your way. You want to start business, associate yourself with people who are business minded. You see, be there, volunteer to be with them, so that you learn more, and then you achieve what you want to achieve at the end of it all. They say hustle until you make it. Now, in order for you to hustle, it can be there either you just volunteer to be there as a person, you are there to do it. You're getting more knowledge, you are learning. But our youths over time, like, will come when it's big. That's a problem.
Zvakabwera chese
Chikakula, chikambochitika. That's where you're getting it wrong. That's where you're getting it wrong. So whenever you have to grow with it, you see, as the industry, as the business is growing up, you're also growing up with it. And also you're creating a very good brand for yourself. I'm one person who likes marketing myself, and I want to have a very good brand for myself. So just be there, available, you see, available to lend a hand. It can be media wise, can be business wise, even clinics, hospitals. You do have these are different kind of if you want to be a medical person, no, be there, learn, so that you have knowledge, tap in knowledge, you see. Don't just be there to be spoon fed. Yeah, no.
What?
Yeah, that's wrong. So be there, volunteer yourself. Take every opportunity that comes your way. Hustle until you make it. Don't just show up when you speak, because they'll be like, okay, since you refuse to be with us, we want people who are professional enough. But if you are there, volunteering yourself, lending a hand, then as it is growing up, they'll surely consider you. I think this person was with us as we were growing up. Then it's the right person for us, because these people have seen you grow, and you have grown with them. So take every opportunity that comes your way. Don't just show up when you speak. Nah, hustle until you make it.
That's definitely something which you have gotten up. If in case you have just joined us, wow, we are about to say enough is enough for today, but don't miss next question. But there is this one I like. So that's it. So if you have any questions, don't forget, or rather don't hesitate to send in our comment box, or rather go to our Facebook page, drop in your message, your comment, your question, whatever it might be, and we'll be able to get in touch with you, or rather answer your questions even if the show has wrapped up. So do make a date next week, same time on same platform, as we get to interact out there with you. Mostly, like I said, these are programs which will come for free to you, but if you feel like you want to take this program up to another stage, then wow, you are welcome, so that we do change the face of the world to be a better place for you and I, and for our future generation. From me, Alan Muserezo Jr., your host, and from the entire production team, we do say bye-bye, and let's meet next week, same time.